Okay, today I want to talk to you guys about No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Cormac McCarthy is somebody that I've talked about fairly recently. I feel like I did a review for The Road probably 2 weeks ago. Recently talked about Blood Meridian as well. And every time I read a Cormac McCarthy novel, I want to read more simply because his style is so unique. To summarize his style, it's kind of about the brutality of the world versus the idealism of the world. And here is another work that exemplifies this idea. Broadly speaking, this book is about a man who stumbles upon a drug deal gone wrong, finds a whole bunch of money, and then goes on the run, running away from the people whose money that he took. And essentially, the whole time there is an old sheriff who is basically giving his opinion on the way the world has changed. And I don't know if the story is even necessarily about the drug deal gone wrong, or is it's more to exemplify the changing ideals that the Americans have in the changing world that the sheriff is faced with. There's all sorts of interesting themes. There's all sorts of interesting characters that kind of expand this world, but it's a classic McCarthy novel because the world feels so lived in. The world feels so unique and so brutal yet optimistic, and it's really a juxtaposition of people trying to do something good, people trying to find purpose in a bleak world. And I really feel like that's what McCarthy can paint so well. And I'm going to be interested to watch the movie and see how it comes out, but really I was astounded by this work. Really, I was, it took me like 2 3 days to finish it, and I it didn't feel like I read 300 pages in 2 or 3 days. It felt like I was like, you know what, this is coming to an end and I don't want it to end. It really does something to you. It really has an effect on you as you're reading it. And it's not a traditional story where it has a beginning, middle, end, everything wraps up. It's classic McCarthy where it doesn't really have a finite ending, where it kind of leaves you in the middle. And I think that's a perfect way to leave a story, because life doesn't end when a story ends. Life keeps going, and it's how we deal with those stories. It's how we deal with those experiences and how we move forward. And you can close one chapter, but the next one's about to begin, and that's kind of where this book leaves you. And yeah, I really love Cormac McCarthy. I think he's a great author, and I am going to continue to read his works. I really don't have much more to say. I guess I could go into some themes, but I really don't want to spoil it, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened in the book and try to evaluate some of the characters, but I don't really want to go into too much detail. So if you want me to do a spoiler, I can do it at a later point. But essentially, the book follows this guy who stole the money and basically is on the run. And the whole time he's really just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know who's coming after me, but somebody's coming after me. And there's this hitman that is following him the whole time. And essentially, what the hitman is he's a man that has a moral compass about. Essentially, his word is law. Essentially, like, if you wronged him in any way, he has to get back at you by taking you out, we'll say. And it's very weird because he's a principled man, but a principled man about the wrong things. And it almost reflects the brutal nature of the society that we live in, the brutal nature of the world when, you're down and it feels like everyone is kicking you. It feels like that the whole world is attacking you all at once, especially when you need help the most. And it's really juxtaposed by the sheriff, who the whole time is at these crime scenes, is witnessing these horrible things, and he's like, how could the country get to this? There's an interesting point in the story. A lot of the book is told through the internal dialogue of the sheriff, and essentially one of the things that he really emphasizes is how the country is changing and how he's not used to the change, and he doesn't like the change. And essentially what it is it's an old man not liking where the world is going. And part of it is because he's an old man, but part of it is also because there's a decay of morality. And there's an interviewer who asks him, how could you allow all of these crimes to happen in your jurisdiction? Like, why aren't you doing anything about it? And he says, it's not me that's causing the crime. I'm doing my best to stop the crime, but essentially it's the decay of our values. It's the fact that people don't say good day, hi ma'am, hi sir, all sorts of these things. It starts with your manners. It starts with the little things. And once people no longer have manners, then there's a decay of, morality, to the point where all these crimes are committed, to the point where people are having to buy narcotics and having to cope that way. And I think it's a very interesting commentary on the society that we live in today, because I mean, this is something that you see in most developed nations, is that, you know, we are looking back and always saying, well, why couldn't things be the way they were? Why can't we have this? Why can't we have that? And it's like, the reason why there's so much crime today is because there's no community. It's because people feel alone. It's because people don't feel an affinity for each other. Like, you're telling me that crime would exist at the same scale it does if people actually, treated their neighbors like their family members? I really don't think so. I really don't think that this would be the case. And I think, it really does start with the little things. And Cormac McCarthy is completely right when he says the day that people stop having manners is the day that we start our spiral into mayhem, into madness, into, things that we can't even imagine. And it's a really interesting commentary. And I think this book holds a lot of very compelling themes. And, the thing about Cormac McCarthy is that he often likes to, I'm trying to think of the right word. He often likes to destroy the manifest destiny, destroy the ideals of America, destroy how we kind of create these mythical values that we all follow, and he likes to pit it against the reality of things. Because maybe there are some people in this country that portray American values and really live by the ideals that our country was founded upon, but there's a whole lot of people that kind of ignore it and kind of only use it to their benefit, whether it's the politicians, whether it's the corporations. It's like it's the idealistic truth that we hold in our head versus the reality that we experience on a day-to-day basis, and the conflict between these two things. And I think you're going to pick this book up and finish it within a few days, because it's that good. It has action, it has mystery, it has suspense, it has intrigue, it has, interesting philosophical debates, and great narratives, great dialogue. Yeah, definitely a great work, definitely something that you should read at some point. And I'm going to watch the movie soon. Maybe I do a video about what I think about the movie, maybe the differences between the movie and the book. Maybe I do a stream about that. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. Ooh, I don't know if I could do that with copyright, but I'll try to figure out something that can compare those two. But with that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Please check out this book. Really, really good book. With that said, thank you guys for the support recently. It's been crazy. That's really all I can say. Yeah, just appreciate the fact that people are interested in me talking about one of my hobbies, which is books. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. If you want more from me, check out my school. If not, then continue watching the videos. I love you guys all the same. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.